moved, didn't have Wi-Fi, a whole bunch of stuff was happening. So for the first like chunk of April, I didn't really get very much reading done, just with everything going into like the move and whatnot. And then when we didn't have Wi-Fi, I got a fair bit of reading done because there was just nothing else to do, and the books were already like downloaded on my Kindle because I had actually done an April TBR, so I had them ready to go in my Kindle. So that was kind of nice. I actually had books that I wanted to read, so that was great. I looked forward to reading all of them. I didn't get to all of them. On the list was Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, and A Kingdom of Dreams by Judith McNaught. I'm currently reading Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole, and the one that I didn't get to at all in April was A Serpent in the Wings of Night by Kirsten Broadbent. I'll probably add that to my May TBR, which should be a video that will come out right away as well. I have not filmed that yet, but I really enjoyed having an April TBR, so I do think I'm going to have a May TBR. As for the reading wrap up of all of them and how they were, if I recommend them or not, I'm just gonna start with what my favorite was, which was Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This is the one that I did a buddy read with Reads with Shuba and Debate Books. I'm hoping that we will buddy read the second one. It was incredible. This was such a good book, and I'm not even gonna like wait to tell you if I recommend it or not. I completely wholeheartedly recommend this. This is one of the best books I've read in a while, if not out of all the books that I've read. It was very, very good. So that was a great way to start April, and the whole time I was just like, I just want to sit down and read this book, but couldn't. So that was interesting. The other funny thing, so we had the buddy read on Storygraph, and I just thought like, oh, it says when every person starts it and when every person finishes it, you can just see that in like your news feed. I didn't know that buddy reads on Storygraph, you can like kind of make notes as you read, and you write the percentage at where that's at or the page number, and as people mark their progress in the book, they can see what your comments were, and they can also make comments and you can talk, and I didn't see that till the end of the month, unfortunately. So I didn't really engage too much, which was too bad. So that's kind of why I'm hoping we do the second one, because I might be able to redeem myself. I commented at the end, but it was kind of like I missed it all, which was too bad. So if you have a buddy read on Storygraph and you didn't know that, it's a great opportunity to actually be able to like communicate about the book, which obviously makes sense. I don't know why, I just didn't know. So in my head, I just kind of missed out on that, I guess. But it's very good to know if you didn't know that you can actually, it's kind of like a book club conversation, if you will. So that was really nice. That definitely added to the book experience for me. I liked being able to see their comments even after I had missed them. That was a really good book. I will, and also just so you guys know, I will have like reviews for all these books, but essentially Brie Matthews, she's the main female character of this book. Her mother dies in a car accident. She's kind of feeling like the whole situation is pretty sus, but she goes to the University of North Carolina, and that's where her mother also went when she was, well, older than Brie, but when she was younger. And yeah, a lot unfolds as far as like just the overall magic and what's happening, especially with the Legendborn Order and that secret society and how it involves Arthur, like King Arthur, and like Excalibur and all of that stuff, and the Knights of the Round Table. Anyway, very, very interesting. I loved the way this was retold. I love so many of the themes. I'm very excited to do a actual review on it because there are so many points to this book that were just amazing. Like, and I know a book is a 5-star for me because it's perfect and I can't think of anything that I would want to change about the book. I would highly recommend starting that, although I do know, I will say, the series is not finished, so I am going to read the second one as soon as I can, but I don't think the third one, I don't even know if the third one's the final one, I think it is, but the third one comes out next January, so January 2025, so if you don't want to start something, I know that that can be frustrating when you start something and you just want to keep reading it and then you have to wait until the next book comes out. That's just something to know. And as far as my book bucket list goes, for Legendborn, what I really, really liked about it was there was a massive focus on like historic, cultural, magical impacts of the university campus itself. And we actually are like somewhat close to the University of Coimbra, I hope I'm saying that right. And that school was founded in like 1290 or something like that. Very, very old, one of the oldest European schools. And I think it would be really fun to like spend a day kind of getting the tour of the school and the history and the culture surrounding that, kind of just take a deep dive into part of where I'm living and get to know it better and the magic and the history of all of that. So I thought that would be really cool, and the book definitely inspired me to actually go there. I had considered it, but then the book just made me think like, yeah, like I should definitely go because there's a lot to learn there. And then, yeah, so that was a really good book. I really enjoyed kicking my month off with that. Honestly, April was just a really good reading month. I wish I had more time to read. I would highly recommend this one. And then the next 30 books I read, I basically read them all in about 1 to 2 days because we didn't have Wi-Fi. So the next book I read was Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood, and this was also just like on a comparative scale, I wouldn't say this is as good of a book as Legendborn, but as far as romance goes, I was definitely like pulled in, hooked. Like I read it very quickly, felt like I couldn't put it down. This is a like academic STEM romance. That's kind of what Ali Hazelwood is known for. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot, especially if you are someone who is a people pleaser. I think you would really like this book. I had a lot of notes about some of the inner dialogue that I can't even remember her name, which is hilarious because that's part of like the problem in the book. I think her name is Elsie. I can't remember now. Anyway, I would recommend this one too if you're looking for a romance, especially if you haven't read any of Ali Hazelwood's work. I will say if you've read her other like STEM romances, they do kind of follow like a similar formula. They're still good though. They're really fun to read, especially if you do like romance. Because this one was so academic oriented and science, on the science side of things with physics, I also thought like I could kind of tie this one into the University of Coimbra too. They have a science museum, so if I could go look at that at the same time, that would be really interesting because I've never really been in the science department of the university, even though I went to the university where I was from. When the science department building, like the new one was being built, I had not been going there anymore and I never went in. Plus, I just at the time didn't really care for school. Like as far as I went there and I learned that school just wasn't for me. It wasn't that I didn't care so much, I shouldn't say. I definitely do care about my grades and things like that, but it just was an eye-opener in terms of like, okay, post-secondary maybe isn't for everyone, and I don't think this is, like I took general studies, so I couldn't see myself going into anything in particular, especially not something like she does, as far as I think she's in theoretical physics, which is just, I don't know, that I will say that was inspiring too. I don't want to go into anything science related. That's just not something I'm interested in. However, it is inspiring to read about women in these roles. It's inspiring to realize that you can do anything you really want to do, even if you don't see yourself being represented there. I do like that about these books, especially because I don't currently know of any other author writing about women in STEM in a romantic aspect, let alone in general. So if you have any recommendations on that, that would be really cool. Love learning about women in fields that I might not do, but like how their fields work. I'm very curious that way and intrigued by like what other people do and what you can do for a living, even if I would never do it. If that makes sense? I don't know. But yeah, I basically thought for my book bucket list that I could go to the Science Museum at the University of Coimbra. And other than that, it was just a good book. I would recommend it. There's nothing like too crazy here. I will say the people-pleasing aspect is probably pretty relatable for some people. I even caught a couple things that I was like, oh, I do that, and I didn't even realize that. And there were a couple things that were a little weird and off-putting, like especially some of her inner monologue for me made me cringe a little bit, but it, like at the end of the day, it didn't ruin anything. So I would say it was a great book as far as I guess this counts as contemporary romance. I think that's what contemporary romance is. I'm assuming that's how that works. I'm not sure actually. So the next book I read was Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, also a romance, also read it in like 1 or 2 days, I think, and that was great. I'm learning that I really, really like cowboy romances, which is what this was. This like micro trope, I guess you could say, the brother's best friend trope, was new to me. It didn't make me cringe as much as I thought it would. I would say probably because the brother actually isn't around the brothers, I should say, aren't really around too much in the book, so I think maybe that helped. I don't know. Overall, I really like the book. Again, I will be doing reviews on all of these, so for now I'm just going to say I would recommend it if you're into romance, especially cowboy romance. I really like both the female main character, Emmy Ryder, and the main male character, Luke Brooks. Thought they were great. As far as book bucket list goes, there are a couple things that happened in this book that I really liked. So actually, I will say this. Normally I don't give like spoilers, but I do think this is kind of a spoiler. So I would skip like the next 10 seconds if you think that this would ruin something for you. Anyway, skip these next 10 seconds. So he takes her up to the spot in the mountains, and it's just like his spot that he found through luck of like just looking around, and he finds it and no one else goes there. And he doesn't take anyone there, and he takes her there, and it just sounds stunning and beautiful and peaceful. My thought is I have all summer to explore this area that we just moved to. I would love to find a spot like that, whether it is one that's like all for me or just finding really beautiful, peaceful spots that I can go to and even read or go in the water or just, you know, really enjoy the summer at and just be outside, be in nature, and find these spots instead of like just staying where we are. Because don't get me wrong, it's really beautiful where we are. I probably could just stay here the whole summer, but I love walking, so I think it would be fun to go out and search of that like he did. So it's kind of going to be like a summer task. I think I'm going to try to vlog each like venture out and kind of show you guys some of the area. I probably won't say where we actually are just for like, you know, personal privacy, but still try to show you guys and vlog those moments. I thought that was really cool. And then slow dancing in the kitchen. They did some slow dancing in the kitchen, and I just thought that was really cute. I've actually had that on a Pinterest board before, but the book really reinforced that I love dancing, and I think it would be really fun to have someone just like pull you in and start dancing with you, especially to like really old music. I think that would be really cute. On a side note, this is not going to go on my book bucket list per se, but maybe like a private one in my mind. You know, I don't know if I would be able to handle this, but anyone who's read the book, the whiskey scene, I was not expecting that. That was crazy. So yeah, the whiskey scene, if you know, you know. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go further into it. If you want to know, you're going to have to read the book. Or I think I like highlighted it in my Kindle notes, which I'll link below, and that will tell you all you need to know. Wild. Anyway, I really did like this book, and I would highly recommend this one too. And then the last book I read was a Kingdom of Dreams. I actually didn't have anything from that I felt like I wanted to put on my book bucket list for this. I thought it was written really well. There were a lot of things that were conflicting for me, like as like dubious consent, non-consent, abuse, murder. I understand it's a historical romance, but like it still is, I don't know, it's conflicting when you're reading these things. So I don't know. I really like the main female character, Jenny. She's probably like the only person I really cared for in the book, and then Brenna, her sister, grew on me too. So it was a good book. I think if you like historical romance, you would really like the book actually. It's also a book from like 1983 or something. But it's also on Kindle Unlimited, so I mean, there's that. It's not a bad book, not a great book. I think it just maybe wasn't for me. I think I've always known that historical romance isn't really my favorite anyway. I think I definitely like contemporary romance more. And I just couldn't really pull anything from this that I wanted to have happening, except for like, so I've already been to Scotland, but maybe revisiting. I guess I could have added that actually, now that I'm thinking about it. However, the way they describe it didn't make it feel like I wanted to go, because they're basically in war times. I would still like to go, but I wouldn't say that the book inspired that, you know? So I don't think this one really had anything for my book bucket list, but this was the last book I read and then like fully completed, and now I'm currently reading Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. I was really liking the start of this book. I'm not really sure about where we're at right now. There's certain scenes that I really like, and then other ones that I'm like, I don't know if I really care. So we'll see how it goes, because at first I was really liking this book and I think it has a lot of potential, and I'm only halfway done. So I think it could end really well. I'm just not sure yet. I am hoping that it does go really well, because it does kind of have all it does have all the elements of a book that I normally really like. So yeah. and then we'll have a May TBR. But essentially, like I said, I didn't finish my April TBR. I think it was just lack of time. Honestly, days where you're just too tired to like read and focus, and like you're reading and you're just falling asleep. So a lot of that. And then I kind of actually I checked back in with my 2024 TBR that I did at the end of last year, I think at the end of last year. And I realized that I have not read that many of the books that I had intended to for spring. Yeah, so I've read 3, maybe possibly we'll get to 4 of the 8 so far. One of the books on there was Magnolia Parks, and my understanding is there's a cheating trope in there, which I'm just not a fan of, and I don't think I really want to read, so I've kind of been like, might not even read that, I'm not sure yet. And then I also had Flock on there by, I can't remember her name. Anyway, I have lots of books on here that I'm just not sure about anymore. Then there was a nonfiction, which was The Girl with Seven Names. I haven't started that because I'm still not done Women Who Run with the Wolves. I'm taking that pretty slowly, if I'm being honest. When I finish it, that would definitely be like my next nonfiction of choice. That was recommended to me, so I would like to get to it. I just don't know that I'll get to it in the spring. And then I have on here that I wanted to read The Bridge Kingdom. I do actually really want to read that still. It's just probably not going to happen in spring. I'm not sure yet. And then Where the Ocean Burns. Yeah, I'm just not sure about these books at the moment. I know I want to read them. I just don't know when I will read them. And then the ones that I did read were like Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. I read that duology. I hope to have a review out for that. I also read A Tempest of Tea. I do have the review out for that. That was great too. And the short kind of collection of quotes by Oscar Wilde, which was Only Dull People Are Brilliant at Breakfast. I have that as well. I read that. That was really entertaining for me. So far the ones that I did read on my spring TBR have been really enjoyable. I really like them. But yeah, I'm just iffy on some of a couple of the other ones, and then a couple of the other ones I intend to read. I just don't think I'll get to them in spring. I just wanted to update you guys if any of you have seen that video. But yeah, April was a great reading month for all the reading that I was able to get done, and I am glad I checked back in with my spring TBR because I'm definitely not on track. But that's fine. I have realized that I'm a bit of a mood reader, like seasonal reads, that kind of thing. So it's been fun, and I'm just really excited and looking forward to May. It's my birthday month, and yes, I am one of those people that considers it like their birthday month. I'm excited for the reads of that month, and I have the TBR all planned out for that. As much as I am a mood reader, I really like planning things, so I'm pretty excited, and I'm excited to share it with you guys too. So I'll talk to you soon.